Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and I am joining the creative design team to bring you a fun spin on the Operation Smile stamp set and the bright 6x6 pad that is currently available from Close to My Heart. Now, here's a look at the design team, and let's get started on how we're going to take this stamp set and the bright pad. So, here's a look at the stamp set and then the bright stack that we'll be using. Now, on the back of every catalog is the current Operation Smile stamp set. And with each purchase of this stamp set, $7 goes to Operation Smile to help children with cleft palates and cleft lips and get those surgeries paid for them. So the Bright Stack comes from this month's special, Creativity in Motion, and you can see those adorable stamp sets as well as this 6x6 paper pad. Now, these 6x6 papers might look familiar to you. They are older patterns, but Close to My Heart has downsized the pattern to fit a 6x6. They didn't just chop 12x12s into 4 equal parts. They actually downsized the pattern. You'll get 48 pieces of 6x6 pattern paper, and each 12, you get 12 patterns and 4 of each design, I believe. And you can see that there's a pattern on the front and then an equally cute pattern on the back. So we are going to attempt to show you how to use those along with this Operation Smile stamp set. And I'll leave a link down below so you can go purchase the stamp set and indirectly donate to Operation Smile. You could also directly put any dollars that you feel like giving to Operation Smile to help those kids get those necessary surgeries. So here's a look at a few patterns that I've pulled out. Now, I am going to show you some quick ways to use 6x6 paper. And my first project is going to be a layout with minimal cuts. That is the purpose of this video, is to show you how you can take these smaller papers, if you're a 12x12 lover like me, and only cut a couple of times and then create beautiful layouts. And then if you stick around to the very end, I'm going to show you several different cards. So I'm going to leave that sapphire and heart pattern at 6x6, and then I'm going to take this striped pattern and cut it at 3 inches, and then I'm going to use both sides of that piece of pattern paper. So for this gingham, this yellow gingham, I'm going to cut at 3 inches and then turn it sideways and cut it 3 inches. What I'm looking for is a 3-inch square. Excuse me. So you saw there, I only cut a few times and I have got the base of my layout basically done. And then I'm going to jazz it up with that stamp set. So here is a look at how I'm going to lay out those pattern papers on my 12x12 layout. And then I am going to go grab a white daisy piece of cardstock, and that is what I'm going to use to adhere these pieces down. So you can see here I have the stamp set, and I'm just going to take that larger flower piece, take plain black ink and stamp kind of in the corner right there, but I want most of it hidden by that piece of pattern paper. And then I'm also going to stamp it up on the side to the right, same concept, most of it hidden, but just a little bit peeking out. And then I'm going to take kind of a solid leaf pattern and again, ink it up in black. You don't have to add a whole lot of color to these stamp sets. You'll see a card here in just a little bit. I also used black. So I'm going to adhere these down. I am going to eyeball it, but you definitely could pull out a T-ruler or maybe even your Versamat so you can see those grid lines and get it lined up perfectly. You can see I'm leaving probably about 1/8 of an inch in between all the pieces. You definitely could flush those up together if you'd like, but I like the look of them being spread out. So there are several sentiments on this stamp set, and I'm really liking the one that says, inside and out, you are beautiful. I don't have my pictures printed, but I am going to put a photo of my daughter. She's got some Groucho Marx, sunglasses with a mustache. At first, when you look at it, you wouldn't think, oh, that's not cute. But when you read the sentiment, no matter what she's wearing, no matter how she looks, we all have bedhead. I want her to remember that she is beautiful inside and out. Now, I showed you a couple of flower pieces that I went ahead and stamped and colored off camera with our tri-blend markers. Now, I hope you can see the shading on these. I love the tri-blend markers because in one marker, you get all the colors needed or all the shades needed to add that dimension when coloring. Now I'm just going to cut this out to kind of see how it looks. At first I really only wanted black flowers, but then now I'm thinking it needs some pop of color. So I've just fussy cut that out. I'm going to kind of play with the placement here. I end up not wanting to go with it right here, but make sure you stick around to the end because I really add some color to this layout the more I look at it. So for this little circle piece, that is going to be my journaling piece. So I've just adhered it down to the center of my Versamat, and I'm using my T-ruler to line up every 1/4 inch, and then my journaling pen to make those journaling lines. I'm going to bring my layout back in, and that's going to get adhered, kind of straddling that yellow gingham and then that lagoon striped paper at the top right. And that's pretty much it for this layout. Again, I just wanted to show you really quick ways to cut those 6x6 paper pads. So here we are going to work with cards. Now I am cutting at 4 inches, turning sideways, cutting at 5 1/4, and then all 3 of these pieces can be used on a card. Now I'll leave the dimensions down below, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Again, it's the same cuts. 4 inches, turn sideways, cut at 5 1/4, and then all 3 pieces can be used for simple cards. So you see that 3/4 of inch that I cut at the 5 1/4, I used it for the inside. And then that 2-inch piece, when I cut at 4 inches, can be used for the front. I'm going to take that flower that I fussy cut on camera just a while ago, add some 3D foam tape, and pop it up on the front. Now on the sentiment, I am going to bring out my sapphire ink to match that floral pattern paper, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on the inside of the card. And it says, "You make my heart happy." I'm just going to peel off the backing to this 3D foam tape, and that card is done. So let's try another one. Again, it's the same concept. I've got a 4-inch piece. I turned it sideways, cut it 5 1/4. I've got that little leftover piece, and then I've got that 2-inch piece. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using a sponge dauber and some raspberry ink, and I'm just inking around the edge. That white and black and white polka dot just kind of got lost on that white card base. So here's that 2-inch piece. This time I'm adhering it to the center of the card. And then same thing with this inside piece. I'm just going to ink it up and then adhere it down at the bottom on the inside of the card. So for these flowers that I already stamped, I'm going to trim down the edges. I meant to fussy cut these, but then I thought, no, I can actually add them to that center piece on the front of the card. I do want to make it a little bit longer, so I'm going to cut one of those flowers off. And as you can see here, I am not good at cutting with scissors. I don't know about y'all, but people will hand me things all the time in a pair of scissors. "Hey, can you cut a straight line for me?" No, I can't. I have a cutter for that. So you can see here, I've separated those images, and then I'm going to take one of the sentiments that I already stamped on a piece of white daisy cardstock. I just dovetailed one of the ends and added hand-stitched lines to the left. And then I'm going to add 3D foam tape and pop it up to hide that little space that was left over. And I'm going to add my doodling dots like I usually do. So you can see I've got a lot of other pieces. That one, I actually took the 4-inch piece that I cut and cut at an angle. And so I'm going to show you how to put this card together right quick. Now I do finish this card off camera, so you'll want to hang around to the very end to see how this comes together. But again, it was the same cuts. So here is a look at that layout. I did color in the flowers and then added some fussy cut flowers pop dotted to the front. I took my journaling pen and a marker, one of those tri-blend markers that I was talking about. It's the coral. I added journaling around the very edge, and then I just took that marker and colored. Now I didn't color as in, you can see there's white spaces. I just made sure to go all the way to the edge, and I think it added so much to this layout. I am going to take my clear shimmer brush because I am addicted to these shimmer brushes. I'm going to color the center of those flowers, and then hopefully you can see that here in just a second. If not, you definitely can see it on the still shots at the end of this video. That shimmer brush just adds everything to these flowers. So let me bring back in the cards. Now, this is the card that I finished off camera. Again, just the same cuts. You just cut that 4-inch piece at an angle. Now, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Don't forget to check out my other girls down in the links below and see what they've done.